It all starts with a super common question, one that pretty much every website owner has to ask at some point. How do I stop some bot from scraping my site? But what if? What if you were spending all your time trying to block the wrong one? What if the real danger wasn't the bot you could see, but one you actually invited into your own home? Look, if you run a website, you've seen this, right? You check your server logs and see names like Googlebot, Bingbot, and now more and more you see these AI-specific crawlers. They're out there, gathering up public data, mostly to train the next big language model. It's just part of the modern internet. And this is where our story really kicks off. Over on Stack Exchange, a developer spots a bot called Clawdbot hitting their site. So they do the totally normal, sensible thing. They ask how to block it, and its buddies, Claudebot and Claude You just add a few lines to your robots.txt file. Simple. Case closed, right? Well, not so fast. Because while all these developers were focused on this commercial web crawler from a huge AI company, a really critical case of mistaken identity was unfolding. See, the real story here isn't about the bot crawling the public web. It's about a different one, with an almost identical name that people were choosing to run on their own private servers. Okay, so let's get into it. To really understand what's happening, we have to pull these two apart and unravel this confusion, because we are talking about two totally different pieces of software that just happen to sound exactly the same. And this table just lays it out perfectly. On the one hand, you've got Claudebot, that's C-L-A-U-D. It's a commercial web crawler from Anthropic. Its job is to go out and index the web. But on the other side, you've got Claudebot with a W. C-L-A-W. That's an open-source personal AI assistant that you install and you control. One's a visitor to your site, the other is a resident in your digital home. So first up, let's just be crystal clear on the one from Anthropic. Claudebot and its cousins Claude User and Claude Searchbot are the official web crawlers. Their whole purpose in life is to gather public data to make the Claude AI models better. And as a site owner, you have control. You can block them with your robots.txt file, exactly like that user on Stack Exchange was trying to do. And then there's this one, Claudebot. This is the heart of our story today. This is not a web crawler. It's a really powerful, self-hosted AI agent that's basically your own private digital butler. You install it on your own server, maybe a laptop in your house, you connect it to your WhatsApp or your Telegram, and boom, it becomes this central command hub for your entire digital life. So why does any of this matter? Well, because literally thousands of people have set up their own Claudebot. They're drawn in by this amazing promise of a private, powerful, completely customizable AI assistant. This thing isn't just a simple chatbot. It's designed to be woven deep into your personal tech setup. And you can see the appeal, right? It's pretty amazing when you think about it. An AI that lives on your hardware, so your data stays your data. It pulls all your messaging apps into one place. It can actually control your web browser to do things for you. It can even work with other AI agents. It's incredibly powerful. And that is exactly why its security is so critical. So with thousands of these private butlers popping up all over the place, security researchers at Pillar started wondering. They asked a really simple but vital question. Are these things secure? And what happens if they aren't? To find out, they decided to set a little trap. What they did was pretty clever. They set up something called a honeypot. It was a server that looked, acted, and smelled just like a default fresh-out-of-the-box Claudebot installation, complete with all the known security weaknesses. They put it online on the standard port, 18789, and then they just sat back and waited to see who would come knocking. And they didn't have to wait long, at all. We're not talking days or even hours. We're talking minutes. Within minutes, automated scanners that are just constantly sweeping the internet found the honeypot. The first probes hit, just testing the waters, looking for a way inside. It was never a question of if it would be found, only when. And the traffic they saw wasn't just random internet noise either. It was focused. Just look at this. A single IP address was responsible for a massive 67%, 2/3 of all the attack traffic. This tells you something really important. This wasn't just some bot looking for any open port. This was a systematic, targeted campaign looking specifically for vulnerable Claudebot servers. And that's the key takeaway right there. The attackers knew exactly what they were doing. The researchers at Pillar analyzed every single command that was sent to their honeypot, and they came to a pretty chilling conclusion, captured in this quote. They're not guessing, they've read the source. They had studied Clawdbot's open source code. They knew its language, they knew its functions, and they knew exactly where its weak spots were. This was not a clumsy, brute force attack. No, this was precise, it was methodical, it was surgical. The attackers were following a very clear 3-phase playbook, and it was designed to suck out the maximum amount of valuable data from every single server they could compromise. And that playbook followed a textbook sequence. First, reconnaissance. They'd send a few basic commands just to confirm, yep, we're talking to a real Clawdbot. Next up, enumeration. They'd start mopping everything out, listing all the agents, all the active sessions. Basically, they were taking inventory to see what was worth stealing. And then, the final step, exploitation. They'd go in and take it all. Now, one of the biggest holes they walked through was this reverse proxy bypass. Lots of people use standard tools like Nginx to handle their web traffic. The old Clawdbot code had this flaw where it saw any traffic coming from that proxy as local, and because of that, totally trustworthy. This meant an attacker could just waltz right past the front door, no authentication needed, and Clawdbot would welcome them with open arms. And what did they get for their trouble? Oh, just the keys to your entire digital kingdom. A successful attack gives them your API keys for services like OpenAI and Anthropic in plain text. They get the gateway password itself. They get the tokens for your Telegram, your Discord, your Slack, and maybe the most disturbing thing of all, they get your entire conversation history, everything you've ever said to your private AI assistant. Now, the good news in all of this is that once these vulnerabilities came to light, the open source developers behind Clawdbot moved incredibly fast. This timeline here shows a flurry of activity in late January 2026. They pushed out a rapid series of critical security patches. They fixed that reverse proxy flaw, they made authentication mandatory by default, and they hardened the whole system against these exact kinds of attacks. All right, so this brings us to the most important part of this whole story. If you're one of the thousands of people out there running your own Clawdbot, what do you need to do right now to make sure your digital butler is working for you and not for somebody else? The advice is really clear and direct. Okay, here are the 5 essential steps. First, and this is non-negotiable, update to the latest version immediately. Get all those security patches. Second, double-check that you actually have a password or a token set up for your gateway. Third, if you use a reverse proxy, make sure you configure it properly. Fourth, and this is huge, try not to expose the gateway directly to the internet. Use a secure tunnel like a VPN or Tailscale. And finally, Clawdbot now comes with a handy security audit tool. Run it. So we've come full circle, haven't we? We started with a simple question about blocking a web crawler and ended up uncovering a targeted campaign against our own private AI assistants. The big takeaway here is that with the immense power and convenience of a personal AI comes a whole new set of responsibilities. These tools are out there, and attackers are actively scanning for them. So it's really worth taking a moment to ask yourself this final question. Is your assistant truly as private as you think it is?